Any appointments this morning? I have none. All right, with that, correspondence and communication?
No, I have some questions for the board if I could get a minute.
After the meeting. Motion
Isn't
is
it- It's not part of the meeting, or?
Motion made and seconded to adjourn. Bill.
Okay, the motion has been made and seconded for adjournment. All in favor? Aye. Aye. Okay.
You're not going to give the public a chance to address the board today? I plainly, it's on the agenda. Correspondence and communication, you're not going to give me a chance? You're going to adjourn the meeting? You didn't even... What kind of a meeting is this? You adjourn the meeting before it's on the agenda.
What did you need?
What did I need? I'm a taxpayer.
Oh, okay.
Bring your supervisors back. I have a whole list of questions here for you.
Oh,
Yeah, there's no signature.
Well, what is this? It's on the agenda. Communication and correspondence with the public.
yeah, that's generated from.
Would you please call the supervisors back? I clearly stated during the, you didn't even look at the public and ask if we had a question for you.
Sure.
Come on, Phil. Let's be real here. You stopped the meeting before I even had it. You could tell I was going to ask questions, and you stopped the meeting.
Yeah.
Well, why would you do that? Are you afraid of my
we
questions?
got through
Can I come to your office and question you guys in there? Well, Phil, is this funny? Come on. You stopped the meeting.
Yes.
As I said, I have questions. I've clearly raised my hand, and you stopped the meeting. This is all recorded now. It's all on video that you guys walked out. Are you proud of that? Really, you stopped the meeting. Can I come to your office and ask you guys questions in there? May I please have 5 minutes with the Board of Supervisors? Phil, yes or no? Can
Yes,
you
you can,
please
but I'll
bring
sit down and talk
Casey
to you.
and Jay back?
I'll sit down and talk to you. We'll set up.
Well,
Oh,
this is not against you or
Yeah.
anybody. It's questions for the public. I have legitimate questions here.
well,
Well, bring the guys back. Come on. Let's be fair here. Phil, it's on the agenda. Communication and correspondence.
well,
Can we
We're-
please bring the board back in so I can ask some questions?
it's the
It's
meeting's
not hard
adjourned.
to do.
The meeting's
You
adjourned.
adjourned it as I raised my hand and said,
Meeting's
I have
adjourned.
questions, and you guys got up and walked out.
Yeah.
So I don't count then, as a taxpayer. I'm not
Oh,
good enough
yes.
to ask questions. What do I gotta do to get to ask questions of my elected officials then?
We can have a.
Well, just
But
bring them
just
back in. We'll sit here. I'll ask you guys questions. Just bring them back in. I'm sitting here quietly. I raised my hand like a school kid. I said I have questions, and you guys then adjourned the meeting and got up and walked out.
Yeah, I
Well,
didn't
why would
know.
you do that?
Oh,
That's
because we get
rude.
to community.
That's very
correspondence
rude.
and communicate.
Pertinent to the agenda?
It doesn't say pertinent to the. It's always been any open-ended questions. I had remarks and
No.
questions.
No, we really don't do it that way. I mean, you can go back to our back.
I've asked
all of-
questions before, and you've answered me.
But usually they're pertinent to the agenda.
It's pertinent to actions you guys have recently taken here.
Have you contacted us on them? Or?
No. Why should I? I'm contacting you now. I'm here in person. I spent my morning to come here to talk to my elected officials. It's got to be on the agenda now. It's not clearly stated that the items must be a part of the agenda. It says correspondence and communication. Correspondence is a two-way street. Correspondence is a two-way street, my friends. I had questions, correspondence, and I wanted some answers pertaining to your appointment to the North Iowa Corridor Board of Brett Schoeneman. I have a lot of questions I want to have answered about that. It would have taken 2 minutes. Now, I sat here in a nice way, and I was going to be very nice and cordial, just as I am now. I'm a little bit upset now. I clearly raised my hand, and you've never done that before, and that's not fair.
I understand.
Mr. Drzezinski, that is not fair to say that I have to have it as a part of the agenda, because that's not stated on the agenda, that it has to be part of the agenda. I had correspondence and communication with my elected officials today. As a taxpayer, 2 properties and a business owner.
Matt, I understand you're upset. You're
Okay,
welcome to talk to
Da-
the board individually about it.
I want to, so might want to stay out of it.
I wanted to check, did you get my?
Can we have the
email
board come
response?
back now? No, I'm not talking about that right now. I'd like to have the board come back in so I can ask some questions this morning. I need 2 minutes. I need 120 seconds. Can we do that or not?
And that'd be up to the board, Matt. I gotta take off.
It's not your fault, but just don't get involved. I mean, seriously, I'm talking to my Phil, you're the chairman, right? Can't you call him back? Can I come in the office? Please? Can I have 2 minutes?
Yeah, but you're gonna, I mean.
Well, let's just be fair here. There's no, you want to read my questions ahead of time?
No, you're.
This is not, there are no personal questions here, Phil. I've never asked you a personal question in my life, and I don't have reason to.
Okay, well, just.
I'm going to come with you then.
We'll just,
I'm a taxpayer
you're
now,
gonna have
Phil.
the camera.
Yes, I am. I am a taxpayer. I
Well,
want my time with my, Phil, you guys were very rude to me today. I'm a taxpayer.
No, we're.
I am,
not.
yes, I am a taxpayer,
We're not
Phil.
rude.
I'm a taxpayer.
You're
You
not.
guys shut your meeting down before I even got a chance to speak with you.
No.
That was extremely rude. Now, may I please have 120 seconds, 2 minutes with my board?
Okay.
Yeah, just center this under here and just get rid of these phone numbers. And then put this phone number down here. And do those come in one box though?
This is actually appalling
Okay.
that you guys behave this way.
Yeah,
Where's Jay?
the number is fine, but,
Did he leave?
So they didn't file any.
I just got back.
Okay,
Will-
can I sit with you fellas then, please? If Jay wants to leave and run away, that's fine, but these are not hard questions, I promise you.
yes, please.
Right.
We'll just
I
go
just thought that they
sit
filed
down
something.
and.
Thank
I'll
you,
get-
thank you. I appreciate that.
You
These
can,
are not hard questions. I
and
appreciate that very
I'll
much.
get with you.
Thank
But,
you.
we're not scheduled,
I have
you've
some,
got
I have some
questions
basic
about-
questions, some very easy questions. Jay, how are you this morning? I'm fine. I was better until you guys walked out on me.
Well, there's,
Well, why would you do that though,
okay,
Jay?
okay, just a second.
Okay,
If you
fine.
want to ask, can I give you the explanation?
No.
You have that off? Okay.
No, this is the public, I'm the media.
Thank you.
Well, I'm gonna wait for Jay and Casey then. They're men enough to do it. They're men. You can run away, Jay. You're running. Then sit down. Can I ask 2 minutes? I asked for Casey. I asked for 2 minutes. May I please have 2 minutes of your time?
I would be happy to follow up with you, just not right now. I've got
So it's okay to adjourn the meeting as I raise my hand and clearly state I had correspondence and communication today.
For who?
I clearly raised my hand and I have a list of easy questions. They're not hard.
I'm happy to follow up with you, just not now. I've got
All right. Well, you guys have it your way then. But this is going to be shown to the public, to how you guys behave today.
Okay.
Okay?
and do you want us to look at? the
Elections
list, or
come and go, my friends.
Do you want us to look at the questions?
Could I point the camera away from you and ask questions of you then?
Well, I mean, I'd like to know what the questions are. 'cause
Okay, my friend.
oh, okay.
They pertain to the appointment of Brett Schoeneman to the board.
Okay.
Okay? All I was going to ask, as you can clearly see, is that there's a lot of people that want to be on that board and they were passed over.
Okay.
And so I wanted to know what the criteria was based on. And I wanted to ask you three if you knew that Brett was late on his taxes 21 times in the past 5 years.
No, I don't know anything
Plus
about
the fact that he's an airport board member who's routinely absent.
it. Okay.
He's routinely absent.
Well, yeah.
I wanted to ask too if you were aware that if you and Casey had any input in selecting him or if Jay just picked him himself.
Well, it came as a recommendation, but I never had any direct contact with Brent other than know his name and,
Sure.
you know,
Can
and
I-
shown him in real estate. But
Thank
that's
you.
all, yeah.
Did Jay recommend him or who recommended him to you?
That's a good question. Came to us a recommendation, and you see
Okay.
appointments and that, and yeah.
No,
I'm
I
not
didn't
from-
see the appointments, but did
No,
you
I mean,
know that?
that's on the agenda. Appointments,
Yeah,
it's
right,
a standing, so.
right, certainly.
yeah.
Did you know that he made a financial contribution to Jay Erdahl's campaign?
No comment, I don't know
That's fine.
anything.
That's okay. I mean, I'm just
yeah, we're
skimming through this. I mean, I'm not
we're-
trying to put you on.
Matt,
I'm not
we're
trying to
gonna
put
be
you on the
done,
spot.
yeah.
You're a good guy.
We're gonna be done with this, but I just don't,
Are you concerned that he's gonna be he's running for city council now, though? That's the main thing. You're gonna have you could have potentially 2 Mesa city council members. Now you're gonna have a skewed board that's not gonna represent the county. There ought to be some good people in your neck of the woods that might be a better fit for that board than Brett Schoeneman. I mean, did you ever think, Phil, about picking someone from your section of the county?
Yeah, not at this time. It came.
In the future,
Yeah.
would you consider someone for your
we
area?
consider all, yes. yeah.
Instead of letting
Just-
Jay just bring them, because
Yeah.
I understand
Well,
that he
that's
talked to
not- yeah.
Mr. Bookmeyer about
Yeah.
it, and
Yeah.
that's where
Well, that
it
I
all
don't-
came from.
So,
Well,
anyway.
would you be okay, let me just ask you one more
Okay.
question. Would you be okay if Brett Schoeneman wins this election? Are you gonna be okay with him serving on the corridor? With 2 Mesa
don't-
City Council members on that board?
I guess as standing right here, it's kind of a moot point. He's not elected, and
It's only 2 people. I mean,
Yeah.
you know what that's like, 2 people
yeah,
running.
yes, yeah, right.
Hey, man,
So
I
he's got a
appreciate your time,
50%
man.
chance. Yeah.
Sorry,
Yeah.
look, I'm just,
Yep. No, you're doing your deal.
well,
Okay.
thank you.
And is there stuff over,
And they just opened one in, so they purchased the building over there that had, they don't have to hand pour anything anymore.
I'll be following up with the ombudsman's office with your behavior today, and whoever else I can go to, Mr. Erdahl, for answers.
Okay.
You behave very, very rudely today, very rudely. I just asked the one supervisor who had the guts to sit with me and take them. You're sitting over here with your soda pop, ignoring me. I've been coming to your meetings for 5 years. I plainly raised my hand and said I had questions today, and you ignored me.
Matt,
I'm
you have the right to question any of us individually.
I've questioned you before at the meetings, and you've taken
Matt,
questions from other
After the
public.
meeting is over, you have the right to question.
Okay, would you
us
please come and sit
individually.
back down with me? Then I have some
I
questions
will.
for you.
I will.
Great, wonderful. Thank you. Boy, it's my lucky day.
Well, let's see if we can drop some of the.
Yeah, let's see if we can get it. Okay,
Let's see
I
if we
can.
can drop some of the.
I can be all right with
sliders,
you.
And we'll have a candid discussion.
Thank you.
Okay.
That's wonderful. Let's be human beings about this.
Okay. And you can come to any meeting you want to come to and ask a question after the meeting.
Okay.
We don't take forum during the
Okay.
meeting.
Maybe I
After the-
misunderstood then.
That's all. And it would have
Okay.
been perfectly fine if you just stood up and said, can I talk to one of you guys after the meeting here?
Okay.
And like all the press would. They don't
Wonderful.
interrupt and that's fine.
And I apologize if I seemed to
Okay,
interrupt.
no
I
problem.
raised my hand.
I know
Just
you
to,
did.
not to keep going back over, but I raised my hand. I just said I had questions, and then you guys left. So anyway,
Okay.
thanks for just look. This is going to take 2 or 3 minutes.
I understand. I'm here.
Thank you. This is wonderful. I mean, my opinion's already much higher than you. I'm just going to get right to it. I'm told there's a long list of folks that wanted to be appointed to the North Iowa Corridor Board. There's a list of people that want to get on that board. A list of accomplished businessmen and women, and you guys selected Brett Schoeneman. What was it about Brett Schoeneman specifically that led you to pick him?
A long list of.
Yeah, I've talked to business owners here in town, accomplished property owning, own several, that told me specifically they wanted to be on that board and they've been passed over.
No one here that I'm aware of has been approached by anyone.
Okay,
I'm not
Okay.
aware of anyone.
good enough on that one. Can I ask why you picked Brett Schoeneman?
Well, I think he's got some credentials.
Okay,
He's in real estate and development,
okay,
which I think is important when you're looking for someone on a board that's interested in business and business development.
okay,
He's on the Visit Mason City Board,
okay,
which obviously you're promoting the community.
right.
I think those are good qualifications.
And the airport board.
Yeah, and honestly, I wasn't aware of that.
Okay,
Wasn't aware of that.
okay, okay. All stuff that he's recently been appointed to, by the way.
Yeah, and I'm not, and I don't follow that other than the fact I knew he was on the Visit Mason City
Okay.
Board, and I know he does development, and I've seen some of the work he's done in that,
Certainly.
and reasonable. Not to say that others aren't qualified too. I'm
Yeah,
not
I spoke
saying
to,
that.
and the only reason I asked is because I did speak to a realtor 20 years his senior.
Sure.
Who wanted to be on the board, who told me specifically he wanted to be on the board. He owns about 10 times more property than Mr. Schoeneman does. And he's a volunteer in the community. He's been passed over to be on the board.
I've never heard that. I don't know that.
And that's fair.
You know,
That's
yeah.
okay. I understand. Look, I'm going to skip the next question
Okay.
here, and I'm just going to ask you: did you meet with Brett Schoeneman prior to his appointment to the board?
I had one discussion with Brent Schoeneman. It was a very brief one,
Okay.
just because I didn't know him,
Okay.
and I wanted to get a feel for the type of individual he was.
Certainly.
And it was like at a social event. It was kind of a chance meeting,
Okay.
and he seemed like a reasonably sensible guy.
Okay. Good.
Yeah.
Good. That's great. Can I ask you, Jay, and not to be offensive, but did you speak to Mayor Eric Bookmeyer?
Absolutely not.
No recommendation from the
Never.
mayor? Okay, very good.
Never.
Good, end of that question. When you sat with, or briefly met with Brett Schoeneman, did he by any chance mention that he was planning to run for city council?
No,
Never.
never,
Never brought it up. Okay.
never.
Okay. And I'm just trying to go through this as quick as possible because I know you're a busy man.
That's
I don't
fine.
want to take up your time here.
And you are too.
Okay. Skip a bunch of these actually. Were you aware, Jay or Mr. Erdahl, that Mr. Schoeneman's
Oh,
been?
we're on a first name basis.
All right, Jay. All right, 5 years. You know me. We should get along better. Are you aware that over the past 5 years, Brett's been late paying his taxes 21 times?
Absolutely not.
You weren't aware of that?
No.
Are you aware that as a member of the Mesa City Airport Board, he's routinely absent from board meetings?
I wasn't aware he was on the board, frankly.
Okay, can I ask in all due respect, did you vet him much before you made the appointment, the recommendation to appoint him to the board?
Well, I don't know how much vetting goes on with most appointments.
Certainly.
Generally speaking, you know, when you consider someone, I think we all assume the best.
Okay.
Why assume the worst?
Sure. But you'd
and I
agree that...
never heard through the contacts I have in the community
Sure, certainly.
of any issues
Okay.
with Brent Schoeneman.
Well, he doesn't have a criminal record. I'm only speaking, so there's nothing like glaring here, but I am speaking to points that may give clues as to his future performance on our corridor board, which, Mr. Erdahl, you, as a member yourself, a board member, you're aware this is critically important to the people of Cerro Gordo County that we bring jobs and industry.
Absolutely.
And this individual who's been late numerous times paying his taxes, that is hard. I mean, he's batting 500 showing up at his airport board meetings.
Yeah.
I think you'd agree with me that's less than stellar attendance. I mean,
If that attendance figure's accurate, you're correct.
yes, it does, and I can prove it. I can prove
I'm
it.
not asking
and I'm not trying to prove it. I can. I did write a story about it in North Iowa Today.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just bringing that to you. Now, this is the meat of why I wanted to
Okay.
speak with you guys right here. Brett Schoeneman's running for council, and he's using his appointment to the corridor board as a qualification to get elected. That's everybody's bringing that to me. That he's telling everyone that will listen that now that you put him on the board, that's this prize piece of his resume.
Mm-hmm.
He's using that status to convince voters of his credibility. Are you comfortable with Brett Schoeneman if he wins that election? Now, he's only running against one other gentleman, Josh Mason. If Brett Schoeneman wins, are you going to be okay with Brett serving on that corridor board?
That's a good question.
Okay. Because we've got Travis Hickey on the board now.
I think there are. You pointed out if your statements are accurate,
Yes, sir.
then
They are.
okay. Let me finish.
Sure, sir.
Then he has personal issues to address, if that's correct.
Yes, sir.
And then he has issues that are political that he'll have to address in this campaign.
Certainly.
Where he's running against this other gentleman.
Well said.
And those are up to him to address.
Certainly. I'm only wanting to come to you, sir, as a person that's a steward of this board, who I've criticized yet I feel that they haven't gone far enough and done enough. We give a lot of money now. We give 200 grand between the county, Clear Lake, and Mesa City. But the rest of the small communities, that board's going to be tilted very heavily in favor of the Mesa City with 2 potential council members sitting on that board. I'm wondering, I'll just segue, would you ask Brett Schoenham to step off that corridor board if he gets elected?
That remains to be seen.
Okay, certainly. Certainly, and that's all I had for you, Jay. Really,
That's fine.
I'm not,
And I have no problem with you asking the question. I mean, I don't have any problem with you
Okay.
saying after the meeting, hey, guys,
Okay.
I'd like to ask a question of you after the meeting if you could.
Okay, if we need to come in here and do it this way, I'm fine with that. I don't want to put you guys on the spot there necessarily. I'm trying to do the. I'm
appreciate
asking
it.
this because the public's coming to me. Believe it or not, Jay, I have quite a large audience. People coming. I don't want to come. I got business to run, man. I got money to
understand.
make, and
Sure.
I got kids to feed. So I don't want to waste all my time bothering you guys.
How
Yet
is the family these
My
days?
family's fantastic. I got a baby daughter who's
Well, I heard.
16 months old, and my son is 17.
Yeah.
And then my girlfriend's daughter lives with us. She's 8. So we got a full house.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I got my office there in the house. So it's just it's chaos all the time, but I'm always working. And
Yeah.
we should be on better terms, though.
I
Really.
would like to be.
We need to be.
I would
we
like to
should
be. I mean that.
Let's shake on that.
Yeah.
Let's do that, okay?
And I can assure you, Eric
Thank you.
Bookmeyer never tells the county what to do.
Thank you.
Okay.
I appreciate you saying that. I appreciate
I
you
mean
saying
that.
that. Okay. And I know, and look, you've served the county 26 years. You've done a great job, and people should know that you've done a lot for everyone. So,
Well,
but thanks for stepping up and being a good public servant and giving me a few minutes. Thank you. Deeply thank you.
I mean, seriously, you give me a fair shake and I'll give you a fair shake.
Let's make a deal. I'll give you a fair shake from now on. You give me a fair shake. And from now on, if I got questions, I'll just politely ask if I can have a few minutes wherever you guys
Wonderful.
want to do it. How's that?
Wonderful.
Is that okay?
That's perfectly fine.
All right, buddy.
Couldn't be
I'll
happier
let
to
you
do
get
that.
back to work.
Yeah,
Thank you so much for everything.
Yep, no problem.
All right.